Chris, you've been around the block for a couple of years. I see already some grey hair sort of showing up. If you look back at your entrepreneurial journey, what's the kind of advice you would give to your younger self or to other entrepreneurs about to start the journey?
I think there's many points to being successful in the SME space. I think that the things that really resonate and that have stayed behind with me is, I think firstly is finding the right set of partners or the right set of individuals from a mentorship level, from a guidance level, whether they're shareholders in your business or otherwise. I don't think that's really important, but really to set yourself up with a knowledgeable set of mentors and guides that can really take you and assist you through the journey. You know, I've had a few situations in our business journey around, I actually don't know what to do here. I'm stuck. I can't think beyond the problem that I'm looking at right now. And it's always good to have, whether it's a big brother or a father or another successful entrepreneur, just to bounce ideas off, if they give you the time, obviously, because entrepreneurs are generally quite busy people. But really to have somebody there that you can go to with problems, whether it's cash flow problems or otherwise, it's a great, for my personal journey, it's been great to have somebody there as a big brother, somebody to lean on. Maybe they don't give you the best advice at that point, but it's their opinion and it'll maybe shape and help you form your desirable objective that you're looking for to begin with. So
I want to ask on that, how do you decide who's the right advisor, mentor, big brother to you?
I think it's quite difficult. So we onboarded shareholders in our business quite early, which evolved around the incubation model. And I spent probably the first 5 years fighting with them and not really allowing them to open my mind to really working together. So another lesson there would be is that, yes, get somebody in place, but also acknowledge what value that they can bring. And really take their opinions to heart. It might not be the right advice at the right time, but sometimes it's good to get advice that's tough to swallow, to realign your thinking and your mindset. So to answer that question is difficult because you only know post the process if they've been good for you or not. I would say at least start somewhere there. I think that's the most important thing. Identify somebody in your network that you have access to. Go to them and ask for them, whether it's an equity shareholding in your business or some kind of, hey, I just need some help. Can you dedicate 1 hour a month to questions I might have for you? And what I've started doing myself is I've started pushing that to other people as well, where people have come to me and said, hey, I want an hour of your time a month or every 6 months, whatever. Can you give me that time? And I find for me, a lot of what comes out of those sessions actually helps me as well. Because, you know, I've been here as well and I've done this already. So here's my advice to you. It might not be the right or the wrong advice, who knows? But I also take a lot of insight from those meetings with them. So I find it quite helpful to give back as well because it also helps train and learn me or teach me.
I get often, maybe it's a virtue, maybe it's a curse, but a lot of emails, especially on LinkedIn, saying, will you be my mentor? I've seen you here, I've seen you there. What advice would you give other entrepreneurs who are approaching busy people? Because this general, hey, will you be my mentor? You talked about, have specific questions maybe, or...
I would say, I think you need to touch people that are in your network already. You need to have some kind of relationship. I think, you said you get quite a few contacts from random individuals asking for help. I think you've got to be careful. You only have a finite amount of time during a day, so you can't give all your time to that kind of giving back kind of thinking. But I think you need to make sure that you know the person in some way. Try and get in front of them for a coffee first before you go on that journey of just saying, hey, random LinkedIn person, can you be my mentor and give me source of insights? I think you have to make energy to befriending that person first on a physical level, but long before you ask them, can you be your mentor?
I want to touch on something you mentioned. You said you had investors early on in your business. There's a big debate that the investment part is very small. So a lot of entrepreneurs spend literally years trying to pursue investors. Doesn't matter now the specific circumstances, whether friends, fools, families or so. What about just starting in some shape or form versus waiting for that lucky break that gives you the funding to go big?
So we do have shareholders involved in our business. They didn't raise financing for that though, so we didn't get any financial injection for that equity. It was just a pure share buyout. So we've had to do everything ourselves.
Okay.
We haven't luckily had to we've never needed to go to market and say we need to raise 50 million rand or whatever it might be for a given project. We're lucky enough to have made money from early on. We've made sure that we've invested that money correctly in new products, growing the business, etc. So we haven't actually needed to go yet. I'm very hesitant to look for funding because then you've got more cooks in the kitchen, and that can become an emotional and draining process. It's got to be the right time for that kind of idea. I think you have to build a business that first generates profit before you go and look for money. I think that's a key thinking methodology, and it's something that I get pitched with a lot of business ideas on a monthly basis, and a lot of the things is just an Excel spreadsheet with the ability to make 100 bazillion rand in the first 5 years, and it's not real and it's not accurate, and right now it's currently making nothing. I think you have to get first to a point where you're actually proving the concept of what you're really offering to the market, adding real intrinsic value to your client base, and having the ability to actually make revenue. I know that there are a whole bunch of unicorns that have worked very differently over the past few years, but those are the one in 10
Absolutely.
million. It's not a common thing that. So I would say build a business that's sustainable for itself. And then if you're really looking at taking a new product and you need a lot of money and you can't finance yourself, then use your existing profitable business to leverage off finding the right investor for you.
You mentioned the focus, you mentioned making the right decision, you mentioned getting a lot of proposals on your table on a monthly basis. So I think many entrepreneurs out there have this, I wonder if what I'm pursuing is a good idea. What advice would you give entrepreneurs when deciding whether what they're about to invest their life savings on, risk the whole sort of family happiness and mental sanity?
I think you've got to do your research. We've had a few crash and burn moments as well. Mostly it related to not doing the right research at the right time in the right market. So we've also had some spectacular failures. I would say it all comes down to really understanding what you've got, what you're offering the market and what you're offering potential client base. If there's no real value that you're adding, if you're going to go invest a lot of your personal funds into something that's not going to work, what's the point of that? So it's really to understand, how can we price this product? What is our actual market that we can sell this to? How much real value, and not just doing an Excel spreadsheet and multiplying everything by 10,000 to get to numbers that you would hope to get, but making it a factual process around what is the real value and what value can taking this product to market generate for our business before you even start thinking about the whole everything else that's behind the idea. It's really to understand what value can this new product bring to our company from a real term, like really being honest with yourself, we've got a thing that we call brutal truth inside our business, where we look at ourselves every month and we say, where are we really failing? And then highlighting, core strategies that can build on those failures. And you have to be honest with yourself. To go out there and say, we're going to sell this thing, there's 10 million people in South Africa, for example, and we're going to sell a license to every single one. We're going to charge $100 per license. Yeah, we can make R1 billion in a month, that kind of thing. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. You have to do the research, and you have to do the hard work up front before you can put an Excel spreadsheet together.
And when do you walk away? As entrepreneurs are perennially optimistic.
Difficult question. We are, and by nature we will pretty much carry on headbutting the wall until either the wall falls down or we pass out. So I think you have to have an idea in your, set up everything properly from the beginning. Put a proper strategic plan around a given launch of a product. When you get to a point of we didn't get there, and this thing triggers project failure, and we have the maturity to say, look, we bug it up. How do we either close this thing down or look for the next opportunity? I think you have to be very honest with yourself. And I think before you start the journey, you also have to set up milestones and say, not say, if we don't get at least 50%, we'll close the thing. But, if it's 10% maybe, you're just not maybe trying hard enough. If you've got 10% of what you were looking for, there's definitely opportunity there. I said, how do you take that opportunity and just extrapolate it out? But if it was a complete, utter failure and you're nowhere near what your predefined or pre-agreed internal milestones were, is just have the maturity and the guts to say, let's rather look at something else. There's no point in spending more money on something that you know internally is going to fail. It's having the guts, I think, to say no.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Really
Cool.
appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks for watching.